What's happening, everybody? League of Speed here. It's been a while. Everybody been wanting to hear about the old infamous Axel jig. So we're going to talk about the Axel jig tonight, setting some axles. Got the old Redline Derby jig here. Got a thing, got in there now. Got a charger for charger somewhere in here. We're going to talk about all this, but before we get to that, we'll talk about what it takes to get it ready for the Axel jig. This is another charger base here, and you just, once you get your axles free, you want to get in that axle groove. Some people call it, like I said, a punch or a pick. I call it a punch. Got that end on it there. Get in there and start scratching good in that axle channel. And also the little ridges around the axle channel, I scratch those up too. If I can leave the little prongs, I do, because that's something for the JB Weld to lock into. So that's also an asset when you're setting your axles. But you just get in that middle of the axle channel and you just scratch it up like you would for your weights right here. Scratch it up. If you can leave your prongs, even better. And that's what you do for your prep. And sometimes, if it's metal or even plastic, you can take a Q-tip, put a little alcohol in there, make sure it's good and clean. After you scratch it, let it dry, let the alcohol evaporate, you have a good clean surface for your JB Weld. Alright, so thinking about how to do this, I really, when I set an axle, I really can't be doing this at the same time because, racing with the guys that I race with, I got to get it right. But I'm going to show you how to do it, and I think it'll be explanatory. And if it's not, then we'll talk about it some more. Like I said, this is Speed Force's charger here. Now I'm going to tell you something I do. I set one axle at a time. The reason being is the axle has to be in here right regardless of what this was doing. They're kind of independent of each other on a die-cast car, if you want to be honest with you. Because unless you're using JB Weld and you got some time, you can sit there. Notice I said weld, not quick. JB Weld, you can manipulate both of them for a little bit and get them right. But most of the time I like to get mine done. JB Weld does hold a little harder than JB Quick, but JB Quick's more than adequate. As you can see, I got the JB just right in there. Now what I do is when you start with your JB, you take a toothpick usually, is what I do. I take a toothpick and I have my JB Weld mixed up. See, this is a pallet. Imagine this is still wet. Alright. You get a little bit in on the end of that toothpick, not much. And the first thing you do is you put that JB in the axle channel itself. Then you get a little more and always twist it like that. It'll wind it up so it doesn't get where it doesn't need to be. And put a little more in around the prongs and where you've scratched at, sanded at. Alright. And then when you get to that point, I usually have a block sitting there like this. And I'll set the block down or something. Y'all can get something equivalent to it, and I set that down on there, and I've got that first layer of JB in there. And then I'll take, actually I think I got some wheels that'll fit this right here. Alright. So then you would take the axle, and you can scratch it up a little bit. You scuff it up a little bit with a piece of 400 grit if you want to. Right in the middle a little bit. And then remember, our JB's on here. We're gonna imagine our JB's on there, like I said, because like I said, if I'm gonna set an axle, I really got to do it right. And you would sit that one in there like that, and it would go into the JB Weld. You grab both the wheels and you spread it as far apart as you can. You move it back and forth a little bit, get that JB stuck on that axle, and then you would go back to your JB Weld and your toothpick, and you would get a little more of that JB Weld on that toothpick. And then you would start to dab it across the top of the axle and the rest of the axle platform. You got a platform. You got the channel, and you usually got this raised part, which I call the axle platform and the axle channel. You get that JB Weld down in the channel. You get it around the platform. Hopefully you'll be able to leave a little bit of your prongs. Most of the time you can. Get it in there. And then take the extra JB Weld when you got them in there, and you can do this. You can take the toothpick and push down, make sure you got it set, and just get it good and covered. I like to make mine neat. Like I said, this is what this one looks like. It's in there, got it covered. They're ready to roll. Get that, boy. Wheel farming ain't been gratified yet. That's Speed Forces Charger right there. Ready to roll. All right. Whoops, lost an axle. Come back here. All right. Put this back. All right, so now we've got our JB weld. Well, now I got to move this. Did it again. Put it over here on the old axle rack. I'll set this over here for now. All right, so we've got our JB on there, and we're just going to put this down here because the JB is going to make it stick. And I'm going to show you all a trick when you first start out here. I like to keep it in the middle now. This is how I've gotten used to. But with a jig like this and you're just starting out, I'd move the tires all the way to the side over here like this, because you always spread your tires out and get it about even like that. Then you take your tires and you want to spread them all apart. This is the one we got the JB on, so we're really not worried about that one. We use JB Quick. You got about 4 to 6 minutes to get it right. You kind of eye it up. You're pulling the wheels as far apart as you can this way, all right? And then I got 2 toothpicks I always use. And then once you get it lined up, you sit there and you take those toothpicks and you spread it out. Move it around a little bit. And like I said, I know that's not quite, because like I said, I can't get over it and look at it like I'm supposed to, but I can teach you how to do it. But you're going to be right over this thing like this. You're going to be right down on top of it. Looking at them. And what you do is when you've got your wheels spread as far apart this way as you can, you want that distance coming out of the wheel hub, the wheel well there, to the back hub of the wheel right there. When they're spread apart, you want to see the same distance or the same amount of axle in that gap right there. And a good way to check is, when you think you got it right, is you look on the outside and you look how much of that axle head is where the axle head is. And if it's, of course you want it to be exactly the same, but you can kind of eyeball it and see if it's about in the same place it is on each wheel. And if it is on the same place on each wheel, just about the same place or damn near the same place on each side of the wheel, the axle head, and the distance in between here looks about the same, then that's step 1. You got that right. And I usually take my magnifying glass. I'll use this one right here for now. And you look at it this way, get a better look at it, get a closer up look of how much axle you can see between the wheel well and the back hub of the wheel. And then you just go check the sides too, a little closer up. And then you get over it, because an axle jig like this is square and rectangular. And you can use the square rectangular parts of the car to see if you got about the same distance from this point on the jig to that bumper. And then you also look over the wheels and I look at 4 points when I'm setting axles. I look at that point right there, the same point over here, and then we can't see them right now where the chassis comes in and ends in a point where the wheel is. I'll look at that. And I also want to see, once I've got my width between my wheel well and my wheel hubs like I want it, lining up, and then I've got the same amount of axle head and the same depth or whatever recession on the wheels on each side, then I know I'm almost close there. And if I look at these 4 points and compare like this side, and I compare each wheel, where's this point right here on this wheel, where's that point right there on that wheel, and then if you be able to tell. I mean, that's the easy way, because if you try to do 2 at once, it can drive you nuts sometimes. And you don't have to do both axles at the same time on these cars. What you got to do is you got to get that axle's where it's supposed to be, same distance here and here in the wheel, that's set and balanced. When you get that one done, let it set up, then we'll do that one. Same process as this one. And lo and behold, you'll have your wheels totally aligned in this well and that well. You can do them independently of each other. You do not have to set axles at the same time. Matter of fact, I think that's a mistake, in my opinion. Like I said, I may not win every race I enter, but you know what? My cars usually run pretty doggone straight. That's because that and that are the same. And see, eventually, like I said, this one's done, and I know you can't see that, but they're the same. I mean, where the axle heads are, they're just the same. And we're ready. Pull them out like that. It's just, that car's ready to rock. And I'll put the other axles in here. That's all that's going on this one right here. Charger Summer. Go on top of that right there. That's Speed Forces there. It's going to be a bad mamma jamma right there. Get it ready. Racing the Chargers at 70 grams, so going to be a lot of fun. A lot of heavy hitters in that one. Well, like I said, that's the best tricks I can show you, because like I said, I can't really set an axle for you just the way I do it between filming and actually having to do it. But those are the best tips I can give you. And like if you're beginning out, just remember, you can use the end of the jig, or you can float that wheel over this side right here a little bit, get it stretched out as far as it'll go, and then start your process and keep it right there. I mean, you'll get it. Just remember, you start out with the scratching, get it ready. That's black. You ain't gonna see that. Let me get this real one here. And like I said, we put it down in the channel. You know that channel. That's got that channel in there. I can't even grab the damn thing. But you know, you got the channel. It's right in there. We scratch that up. When we get ready, we take our JB weld. A little scoop and a twirl, so it ain't stringing like spaghetti or melted cheese or something. Get it down in that axle channel, around the platform and the prongs. Grab our axle. And usually we got it sitting on the blocks right here, like so, or some platform. I found I used some of my kids' blocks and they were, oops, wrong side. That ain't gonna fit. Let's turn her around. There we go. Ain't gonna win no raises the other way. All right, drop it in there. Back and forth. Once again, scoop, twirl, smear it around top of the axle, over the platform and the prongs. You can go a little left, right, like that. JB Quick will hold immediately. You don't have to wait on it. And you can go ahead and just flip it right on the jig. JB Weld, you have to let it set up a little while. And if you, I mean, you can use what you want to, but you should be using JB Weld or JB Quick. And that's just my 2 cents. And I ain't got no stock in the company. I probably should have, though. And then you just work them. Like I said, I do them independently, one at a time. You get, you just get the width between the wheel well and the hub the same. You can check it by where that axle pin is in the wheel. And that's ready to roll. And then you use these 4 points right here. Because when on the axle jig is spread out like that, you look where that point is compared to where it lined up on the wheel, where that thing does on the wheel, where it does on the same side. And if you look at that thing and you've got this distance here about the same, and you're seeing about the same amount of axle head, and these points right here kind of lining up the same way these points here on the wheel, and it's golden. And a lot of people put weight on it. What I do, though, since I do it one at a time, I sit there and put my finger right here, and I get right over it, and I press down right here before I start to set it. And that way you ain't got to put no weight in there. Move it around. But yeah, but that's how I do it, guys. Like I said, if you need a little more explanation, just ask me questions, and I'll try to answer them. But I think that's the best way. And I think the most important way is just to do them one at a time. I mean, that's my method. That's what I do. You know, it serves me well. Speaking of serving me well, congratulations to my beautiful wife, the Lady of Speed. She won the RLD Nationals. We finally got those things finished up this past May. These are her 2 team of 57 Chevys here. It was a race. The builds had to be 55 and 57 Chevys. And what we do here at the Legion is, yes, I build all the cars. I do all the jig work, put them together, do all the paint and all of that. But what we do is we all do our own wheel farming. Now, Lady Speed will get me to get 12 of them, and I'll narrow them down to the best 4, and then she'll take the best 4, spin them herself, and then she'll get her wheels. Speed Force got a little different method. She looks at if you ever see me take a previous build apart, that's usually Speed Force. And that's what this one. I took an aerodynamic out apart for this build for her because it was a good package. She'll pick up builds that I've already done and she'll spin them independently. She'll say, "Does this car do well?" And I'll say, "Yeah, the car did pretty well. Can we take it apart?" And I said, "All can be taken apart. They're all, farming's farming." And so she'll give me 90% of the time. Speed Force will give me builds that are already, had a package in them. I extract the package, put them in something else. but she will make sure they fit. Speedzilla, I just showed her the normal field of 12, and I'm narrowed it down to 12, and she just looks at him and goes, I like that one, I like that one, I like that one, I like that one. And if you watch our races as a family, the Legion of Speed, you can kind of see the differences, and that's all due to, guess what, boys? Wheel farming. You know I was going to get you, didn't you? Y'all thought y'all could get away with that tonight. Y'all know that ain't the case. You got to wheel farm, guys. And obviously, since the Lady of Speed is usually a little bit faster than me, and also I'm shaking us, laughing here. She evidently, I can get it down to the top 4, but she's got a knack for picking out good ones. You know, their front and back packages. I'll give it to her. This is her team from the Grand National, from the RLD Nationals here. This was her best car. It's got a gold medal speed, which is nickel plated, gold lace on it that came off a gold medal speed Soul Air that fit this. She's worn out now. It's still spinning pretty good. She hadn't had any graphite since January. Yeah, so it was a fun race, man. It was nice to build. You know, one of your builds wins something like that against the best builders there is. You know, that's it makes you feel good. And I don't trophy hunt, man. I just try to be hard to beat. You know, I just try to be hard to beat. If you outrun me, you know you build a good car, and that's my goal one day from you guys watching this. Is you can say, yeah, I outran you because I watched your videos. That'll be fantastic, man. That's what I'm after. That's her other car. I always thought I always thought it was a better car, but that car just did well. I mean, it's had bigger wheels on it, very balanced car. It was nice. But that's her team for the RLD Nationals. She won it, the Lady of Speed, another trophy in the case. And like I said, as you can see, we're getting ready for Charger Summer here. It's going to be a lot of fun. We go green a week from tonight. Team show of that'll probably hit on Friday night. Here's a couple we got done. This is the Lady of Speeds, one of her choices here. That's done, sitting at 70 grams. It's got a color shifter OH5 package on it. It's not white. It's got the spokes aren't anything, but it's white walled. No color on the spokes. I think that's pretty sharp. Ready to roll, as you can see. Ain't even been graphited yet. So that's Lady Speed. And this is one. Actually, this Charger here is something I built my my rookie year in 2017. It started in late 2016. Went to November. My rookie year was November of 2016 to November of 2017. That was my rookie year. And I built this one for GTA, man, at Redline Derby at the high-tech redneck track. It's a blue track with a really good timer system. He's got 4-lane capability up there. GTA, man, I ain't seen him in a while, man. If you should be watching this, man, we think about your brother. I missed that track. That was an awesome track. Never missed a race there yet. But anyway, this is a Charger that I refurbished. I still had the interior in here, and I had like big old fat fishing weights, like this right here, sitting in the back seat. And look now, y'all that are doing that, man, y'all keep it up. I'm telling you, that's how you start. But you know, you can always go to your tire store, and then I'm telling you, them guys give y'all some lead that's nice and flat and it's easier to work with. I'm telling you, like this right here, nice and flat. Yeah. But anyway, I still had the interior in it, and it had fishing weights in it and everything. So I tightened it up, refurbished it, and got it ready to roll. Did the interior right, got the cockpit out of there. I'll show you. It's basically like this. I took the interior out, cut it right here, cut it right there, because I needed a bumper. And like I said, we had one episode I needed a blown Hemi in there. But yeah, so I got this one ready to go. So that's fun. Get this one ready to go again for Charger Summer. Yep. I won't too bad wheel farming for my rookie year there. That's still going. Yeah. Yep. So anyway, that's two of the Chargers in Charger Summer. But yeah, man, like I said, there's little tricks to the trade, dude. I would do one axle at a time. Like I said, if you're really kind of nervous and stuff, you don't trust your eyesight, move it to the side, use the side of that axle jig to get it lined up. Do the JB weld like we talked about, you know, scratch the stuff, scratch a little bit of center axle, get that JB weld down in the channel, plop that axle down in there, put a little more on top, flip it, like get it on here like this. Do the techniques, there's two things you look for, three things you look for. You look for the distance between the wheel well and the hub. You look at the axle heads over here. You use these both points on each side of the tire, get them lined up, and if that's lined up, and then you look at these two sides of the bumpers, and they're kind of like straight in line with this right here. You don't see them cockeyed and stuff like that. Well, then you know. See, that's a good thing about one thing, because all we have to really do is worry about the axle from here back. If everything I've told you is right, and the back of this axle is pretty much lining up with that thing down there, you golden, man. Let it set up, flip it, do the other side, and you'll be ready to roll. Like I said, I would love to have shown you one live, guys, but it's just no way I could really do it the way I got to do this stuff right now. So I hope that helps, man. If it doesn't, any more questions, y'all hit me up, let me know, and we'll take it from there. Man, I appreciate everybody tuning in, man. Y'all be safe out there, and get on the track, do some racing, man, build some cars. All right, man, y'all be good. Peace and speed. League of Speed out.